Hey guys, welcome back to another one of my videos where today we're going to continue talking about each NFL division, and today we're going to be talking about the AFC West. So we're going to be talking about the Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, and Raiders. And we're going to go through, if you guys watched my other couple of videos on division predictions, we're going to be talking about their primetime games, how many wins I think they're going to get, and overall we're going to talk about the sayings at the end. So you guys get the gist of it, so let's get right to it. So let's firstly talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, the easiest team in the division to predict. So first of all, they have 7 primetime games, but I know they have at least 7. So they kick off the year in Brazil against the Chargers. That counts as a home game for the Chargers. So I believe that the Chiefs are going to pick up that one against the Chargers. And then they also play in New York and in Jacksonville, week 3 and week 5. Giants is Sunday night, Jags is Monday night. And all the rest of their primetime games are all at home. They play against Detroit, Washington, and Houston. And they also play against the Broncos on Christmas night in Kansas City, which is very tough because I think the Broncos are going to be really, really good this year. But I think that any of these primetime games could go either way. But I have Kansas City beating the Chargers twice. They're going to sweep the Chargers this year, as like they usually do. I think they're going to beat the Giants on Sunday Night Football. They're going to beat the Ravens, which is a 4:25 game at home. They're going to beat Detroit on Sunday night. They're going to beat the Commanders on, I believe that is a Monday night game. I have their whole schedule right here, and everything that I think will go for them. They will also beat Houston on Sunday Night Football. They'll easily get rid of Tennessee. They'll beat the Colts. And they'll also beat the Broncos and the Raiders to end the year. So that totals out at a 12-5, which is, again, a really, really good record and up to par for Kansas City. That'll get them definitely top 2, maybe 3 seed, but they'll definitely play really good. I think they'll not win 15 games like they did last season because that just is way too high of a standard to put them at. And I think that 12-5 is a perfect record for Kansas City because the division got better. And I think that the AFC is just a really, really tough conference. So 12-5 is perfect for Kansas City. So the next team I want to talk about is the Los Angeles Chargers. And the Chargers have 5 primetime games this year where they play against Kansas City week 1, we already talked about, in Brazil. It counts as a home game for them. And they play Monday night at Las Vegas week 2, and the rest of them are all home games, which is against Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia. 1 Thursday night football game, 1 Sunday night football game, and 1 Monday night football game. So the Chargers are coming off here where they won 11 games, 11-6, I believe. They went second in the division, but they got killed by Houston 32-12 in the wild card game. And Herbert turned the ball over more than he ever has in his career. He's coming off a year where he only threw 3 picks all regular season, but threw 4 in 1 playoff game. So I don't know how to feel about the Chargers come postseason, but they're not at all a bad regular season team. So I think that they're going to be able to take care of business week 2 against the Raiders. They're going to lose week 1 in Kansas City. They're going to beat Denver in LA. They're going to beat the Giants. They're going to beat the Dolphins. I think they're going to beat Indianapolis. I think they're going to beat Minnesota in primetime because that's pretty early in the year. It's week 8. It's like mid-season. I don't know how to feel about J.J. McCarthy yet, but the Chargers are tough to play against on primetime in LA. It's not the easiest environment. Like, the Chargers don't have many fans, but they're definitely pretty hard to beat. But and then I think they're going to end up losing to Philadelphia week 14 on a Monday night. That's a very tough matchup. Reigning Super Bowl champs. They're not beating them, especially with Saquon Barkley, a healthy Jalen Hurts, and A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and that great defense. I think they'll also end up beating Tennessee, Dallas, and their last one of the year will be against Houston, which will total them to a record of 9-8, so 2 games worse than last season, which 9-8 could sneak you into the playoffs. It could also have you miss. I think they'll be a little bit worse than last year just because I think the division got so much better this offseason. I think Denver got better. I think that the Raiders definitely upgraded on a lot of aspects. So it's going to be tough this year, but I think that the Chargers are going to end up winning 9 games. So the next team I want to talk about is the Denver Broncos, who they just won 10 games last year. They got destroyed by Buffalo in the wild card game, but they exceeded expectations mightily last year. Bo Nix had a breakout year. If it wasn't for Jaden Daniels, he might have won Offensive Rookie of the Year. But I think that they really upgraded this year. I think their defense got even better than what it was last year. I think Bo Nix, hope if he doesn't have a sophomore slump and if he repeats what he was last year or even gets any better, that team could be better than last year, which is really scary for the rest of the division because they were already a really good team last year. But they have 4 primetime games this season. They play Monday night against Cincinnati, week 4, and they lost in overtime in Cincinnati last year. So I do think that they'll be able to beat the Bengals this year because it's at home. They'll have that crowd. It's early in the year. I think that'll be a really fun game. They also play the Raiders and Commanders, both at home. And that is on Thursday Night Football and Sunday Night Football. That'll be 2 great games. I think the Raiders definitely got better, obviously. And the Commanders are coming off an NFC Championship appearance last year. So 2 really tough games in primetime, but definitely something the Broncos can win if they are healthy and coached well by Sean Payton, which he is a phenomenal coach. But I think they'll end up beating Tennessee. We already said they're going to beat Cincinnati. They'll beat the Jets and Giants, too. Mid-teams, we don't know how they're going to perform yet. I think they'll beat Dallas. I think they'll beat the Raiders once. They'll beat the Chiefs once. They'll end up beating Green Bay. They'll beat the Jags, and they'll beat the Chargers. So I think that they'll end up winning 10 games this year, which is exactly what they did last year. I just think that their schedule is harder this year, and they're playing tougher opponents than what they did the season before. So it's really, really tough to rank the Broncos. I think that if they exceed expectations and do even better than what they are projected to do, this team can honestly win the division and get a top 2 seed this year. This team is really ready to win now, which is something that you didn't think that you would say right now, just because they're 1 year removed from Russell Wilson. But yeah, I think that they'll go 10-7, and that should be good enough for them to make the playoffs again. And the final team that I want to talk about is the Las Vegas Raiders, who the Raiders got much better during the offseason. They got Ashton Jeanty in the draft, who is a generational running back. They obviously got Geno Smith from Seattle. They just got Pete Carroll, who just came back from Seattle, now to the Raiders, so he's pairing up with Geno Smith to coach again. And the Raiders definitely, as a coaching staff and as I think mentally they got better as a team. I think last year just wasn't it for them. Once they started losing games at the beginning of the year, after that Carolina game, everything went downhill from them. But anyway, the Raiders have 3 primetime games this year, and they have 2 at home, 1 away. They have week 2 Monday Night Football against the Chargers, which we just talked about a little bit ago. Thursday night in Denver, week 10, and then Monday night in Dallas, or actually against Dallas at Allegiant Stadium, week 11. So it's not the worst of the bunch for sure in that division. But that's not that bad to say because they have 3 playoff caliber teams as well, and maybe 4 if the Raiders end up being really good this year, which they definitely have the potential to be. But I think that with their schedule, it's really, really tough to find wins because they play Kansas City twice a year, Chargers and Broncos twice a year. They also play Washington. They play Philadelphia and Houston, also Dallas. This is a tough schedule. But I think that they'll end up beating the Patriots week 1. They'll beat the Bears. They'll beat Tennessee. I think they'll beat Kansas City, the Chargers, and Denver once. I think they'll go 3-3 to division. They'll split. But I think they got better this year. Much better compared to last year, where I think that they actually have an opportunity to upset a couple teams, which is exactly what I see them doing. And I also see them beating Cleveland. They suck. The Browns are not a very good football team. But I think that I see the Raiders winning 10 games, 10. I think that the Raiders are going to win 7 games this year, and they're going to come last in the division, but that's not it's that bad because of how good a division they play in. I think that give them a couple more years to develop Brock Bowers, Ashton Jeanty, see what Geno Smith can lead for them, and they still have Jacoby Myers. I think that that team really, really can make a good playoff push, not this year, I think they gotta wait a little bit longer to get some team chemistry going, but they really have a shot to be a really good football team this year, and I guess we'll wait and see. So that is how I feel about the AFC West, and obviously I have Kansas City coming at first place. I have the Broncos coming at second at 10-7, Chargers 9-8, and the Raiders are going 7-10 at last in division. But again, this is a very competitive division this year. I swear every single team in this division can realistically make the playoffs, but I think that it'll be a good division for years to come. And that's it. I hope that the rest of you guys have an amazing rest of your day. And go Bills, and let's hope that the regular season comes soon enough.